Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another not by creed, but by covenant. And we are called to answer the call of love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here.
Good morning, everyone, and hello from live in my living room in Arlington, Massachusetts, here with Julie Metcalf, and we are excited to share some music again with you today. We're going to start off with a classic Leonard Cohen's anthem, "Ring the bells that still can ring, forget your perfect offering, there is a crack in everything." That's how the light gets in. The birds they sang at the break of day start again. I heard them say, don't dwell on what is passed away, or what is yet to be. Ah, the wars, they'll be fought again. The holy dove, she'll be caught again. Bought and sold and bought again. The dove is never free. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
We asked for signs, the signs were sent. The birth betrayed, the marriage spent. Yeah, the widowhood of every government. Signs for all to see.
I can run no more with that lawless crowd, while the killers in high places say their prayers out loud. But they've summoned up a thundercloud, and they're gonna hear from me. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack
how the light gets in.
You can add up the parts, but you won't have the sum. You can strike up the march, there is no drum. Every heart's love will come, but like a refugee, ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Sing it with us. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in.
Happy Sunday. It is so good to be together while apart. Once again, thank you to our extraordinary tech team for making this service possible.
Good morning. It's great to be here with you, the tech team, and all our staff musicians. If you haven't already downloaded today's order of service, it's available in the chat and on the homepage at ascboston.org. That's ascboston.org. All of the hymn lyrics are included in the order of service and will be posted in the chat so we can sing together. There's also a link to Sermon Bingo on the homepage. Feel free to play along while Reverend Kim preaches. As we continue our virtual greetings, please say hello in the chat. Let's engage that Arlington Street Church spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another, heart to heart.
Good morning again, everyone. Our first hymn today is Come, Come, Whoever You Are, with text from the great 12th century mystic Rumi. We recorded a little video for this one because this song is around, and so you'll see me and Hannah and then another me sing this one, and I hope you will feel free to sing along, add harmonies, add a fourth layer to the round if you want. It's good to be together. Come, come, whoever you are.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, yet again come. Wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, yet again whoever you are. Wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, yet again come. Come, yet again come. Come, yet again come. Come, yet again come.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be your living sanctuary for you.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted on our website by the Friday evening deadline. If you didn't submit your candle and have a joy or sorrow to share this morning, please wait until the third candle is lit, the silent candle, and then type your joy or sorrow into the chat. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Despite having to be apart, may we stay very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be your living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
Our first candle is a candle of sorrow from Harriet. Walking on her way home from voting, Lee Zalman, mother, friend, wife, doctor, was hit and killed in the crosswalk. My prayer is for healing and comfort for all who knew her, and prayers of compassion for the unwitting driver. A candle of sorrow from Queen Cheryl. A candle of deep sorrow from my friend, Reverend Carol, and her wife, Linda, whose mother died on Monday. Due to COVID, Carol has not been able to see Linda at all and cannot officiate the service. Linda has to fly back to California alone and quarantine when she comes back, which means she will spend Thanksgiving alone. I pray for my friends and all those who are in similar circumstances. I pray for a vaccine that cannot come soon enough. And a final candle of sorrow for me, for my friend Blair, who recently died of an apparent heroin overdose. May he be at peace. May his family and friends find comfort and acceptance, knowing that no one was at fault. May all suffering from addiction know they are not alone.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
And some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
Our first candle is from Harriet. This is a prayer of gratitude for all those who voted and worked to encourage the vote. Now the prayer is for strength and courage to continue the long march, reaching out to known and unknown folks, to build our bridges, to make our world a kinder, more nourishing place for all of us. A candle of great joy from Kate Schneider. A candle of joy that I successfully defended my dissertation this past week. And a final candle of joy from Julia Hylerain. I have not seen my 7 siblings, most of whom live in Texas, since August, but they have seen each other. This week, I secured a plane ticket to go home for Christmas and was able to tell them over FaceTime. We are all very excited.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
For all the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, and for the world. Amen.
Let's join now in saying together the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another.
El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
Good morning, everyone. This is Hana Omori, and then this is my dad, Kazuhiro Omori. Let's sing hymn 128, For All That Is Our Life. For all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad for needs which others serve. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear. For sorrow we must bear, for failure, pain, and loss, for each new things we learn, for fear, for hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Improbably, it was Marilyn Monroe, whose body was so profoundly objectified as a perfect female specimen, who said, "Imperfection is beauty." I thought of it again this week as yet another person told me they remain so distracted right now they can't concentrate or remember anything, find anything, or even remember what they're looking for. Usually at any given moment, some of us are feeling this way, while the rest of us are apparently holding it all together. When the off-kilter percentage swells to the majority, everything gets a little catawampus. I say, if we just stop fighting it, we'll come out feeling a whole lot better. This morning, I encourage us to embrace our higgledy-piggledy times, so much danger, so much opportunity, and consider the possibility that imperfection is beauty. In my engagement with the very subjective experiences of perfection and imperfection, I'm guided by an old Zen Buddhist teaching tale. One autumn morning, a monk was doing his temple chore of cleaning and raking the gardens. After many hours, everything was perfect. Every flower bed kneaded and neat, every branch trimmed, and every stone in the walkway clean. He had even combed the moss. Just then, he saw his teacher approach, Quickly, he moved to a beautiful young maple tree in the center of the garden and shook the trunk ever so slightly. A scattering of leaves fell to the ground. And in that moment, as all the teaching tales end, the monk was enlightened. When was the garden more perfect? With or without the fallen leaves? And when was it more beautiful? We could spend a long time unpacking this story. It all points to the Japanese love of wabi-sabi, a celebration of the reality that nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect. As Marilyn Monroe implied, perfect and beautiful are not synonymous. In fact, flaws and rough and growing edges are often what amplifies beauty. If you've ever watched a workout video in which the trainer moves from exercise to exercise and never breaks a sweat while you're huffing and puffing or just prostrate on your mat, you know that vague suspicion that that trainer is actually a robot. When we pretend we're not being crushed, whether by a workout or by life, we hide what makes us human. We distance ourselves from each other in the struggle and the messiness of life. It turns out that what we all really crave is authenticity, real feelings, real pain, and real joy. We prefer the pig without the lipstick. When our older daughter was born, her Peruvian birth mother pierced her ears and threaded them with red thread. When I asked her about the thread, she told me it was because our baby had a strong glance. The red thread would ward off the evil eye. Now, obviously, something was lost in my translation from Spanish to English, but I think what she meant was that our child was so perfect, so beautiful. She was tempting the gods. A curious guy named Jamie Ross collects Navajo rugs with English words and letters woven into the designs. Years ago, author Jason Fried spent an hour looking at Jamie's rugs and was struck by the fact that a lot of the rugs had mistakes in them. Woven right into the patterns were stray lines or shapes that didn't match the others. Jamie said there are many explanations. One is that the Navajo intentionally weave in mistakes to remind us that human beings aren't perfect. But he prefers the explanation that what was intentional was not the mistakes, but the desire not to go back and fix them. The Navajo, he said, see mistakes as moments in time. The mistake, says Jason, is woven into the fabric of time. It's good to be reminded of it when you look back. Jamie Ross compared it to climbing a mountain. If you climb a mountain, you're sure to make a few missteps along the way, but you keep going. You don't stop and start over if you trip or take the wrong path. It happened. It's part of the climb. And when the climb is done, you've finished. You don't call the climb a mistake. Likewise, the Navajo don't call a rug with some off stitches a mistake. If the rug is finished, it's a successful rug, an honest rug. Flaws distinguish handmade from factory produced, and handmade is always more precious. In an interview with entrepreneur and investor James Altucher, writer and musician Derek Sivers told this story. Back in the 90s, there used to be a great magazine called Musician. And along with the magazine, they would include a sampler CD of 16 artists you'd never heard before, one track each. I used to love getting the CD and just put it on in the background while I was doing other things. One day, there was this one track that jumped out at me. The singer was singing, "Used to be I could go up to Barstow for the night, find some crossroad trucker to demonstrate his might. These days, it seems like nowhere is far enough. And her voice cracked. And then she sings, "So I'm leaving Las Vegas today, leaving Las Vegas." And I remember when her voice cracked like that, I stopped what I was doing. She left that in. That was brilliant. And then it made me pick up the CD. And who was that? It turns out it was Sheryl Crow. She was an unknown artist at the time. I so admired that decision to leave in that crack in her voice. It's like that little fault is what made me like her. There were 15 other artists on that CD, and I will never remember who they were, but I remember the one that left the crack. It turns out we like our stars relatable. We like each other relatable. There's a way in which perfect is boring. Perfect adheres to the norm. Imperfection can be spicy because it stands out, it gets noticed. Counterintuitive choices and broken rules can make something unique memorable. And then there's this: perfect is the enemy of the good. This aphorism is often attributed to French Enlightenment writer Voltaire, but just about every sage from Confucius to Shakespeare said it in one way or the other. Perfect is the enemy of the good. When we set our sights on the perfect something, possessions, relationships, achievements, we are stressed, anxious, depressed, and quick to judge. And chasing after perfection does not propel us forward. It holds us back. It doesn't allow for improvement or change or growth. Iteration, adaptation, and learning are enabled by imperfection. The more comfortable we get with the messiness of imperfection, when we can learn from our mistakes rather than trying to bury them, the happier we'll be. And now, of course, I just have to retell the story of Benjamin Clardy. At the age of 4, he had an imaginary farm. One morning, he said to his mother, my friend Andrea Fleck Clardy, "Mom, you know what happened last night? Last night the vet came, and you know what he did? He cut a little piece off the hoof of the cow, and now she has a calf." Andrea, a good Unitarian Universalist parent, seized the moment and launched, "Actually, Benjamin, that's not the way it happens." And she proceeded with the facts of procreation, the long addition. "You see," Andrea finally concluded, "that's how it really happens." Benjamin considered his mother with a long stare. "Not on my farm." Being human, or being a cow for that matter, is messy. Vietnamese Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh writes of falling in love, "You only think of the other person. You can only think of the object of your love." That is why we speak about it as a kind of accident, falling in love. You fall down. You are not stable anymore because you have gotten into an accident. I find myself drawn to spiritual teachers who are sweating it out, feeling the fear, feeling the rage, and right out there about it. Jesus cracking a whip, turning over tables, and clearing the temple of money changers. American Tibetan Buddhist nun Pema Chodron snapping in irritation and throwing something at her lying, cheating, now ex-husband. No perfection, just the longing for a better version and the willingness to try. When we make a mistake, we don't have to scramble for cover. We can talk about it. Get curious about our feelings of inadequacy and insecurity. Do our best to repair the damage. Laugh and feel our deep interconnectedness with every other human being who has ever made a mistake. Every time we fall short, every time we get up and try again, every time we do our best to fix it up and move on is a good day. When we embrace imperfection, we are freed to find beauty and meaning and to accept ourselves and each other exactly as we are. I'm thinking of a sad story, but one that has been deeply instructive for me. Some of you know the work of David Foster Wallace. I first encountered it through his 2003 commencement address at Kenyon College, a speech later made into a book and then a video called This is Water. David was brilliant and tortured by depression, alcoholism, and drug addiction. In 2008, at the age of 46, he ended his life in suicide. John, one of his Amherst College classmates, told me that he and David were in a class together. John had worked unbelievably hard on a paper. The professor returned it with all kinds of commentary written in red down the margins, and on the last page, an A-. John was thrilled, and he proudly showed David his paper. David looked at it, but he could hardly look at John. Without saying a word, he produced his own paper and handed it to John. There was no commentary, not a single mark on it, until the very last page where the professor had written, "I don't even know what to say." A+. Staring into the middle distance, David Foster Wallace said to John, "Do you know how lonely this feels?" In the end, perfect. Nothing to strive for, no room for growth, nothing to change. Perfect is unspeakably lonely. Let's end on a more cheerful note. On a Sunday morning years ago, Dan Kane, our intern minister of blessed memory, was serving as the worship coordinator. Moments before it was time to light the chalice to open the service, we realized the chalice had not made it out onto the pulpit. Dan slipped out during the introit and just in time reappeared. Holding it before him like the bread of heaven, he processed the chalice to the pulpit slowly and deliberately and placed it carefully, lovingly onto the pulpit. It was a performance worthy of his years as an altar boy. And just before I began to read the words for the chalice lighting, he grinned at me devilishly and said, "If you can't fix it, feature it." Beloved spiritual companions, I close with Rainer Maria Rilke's God Speaks to Each of Us. God speaks to each of us as God makes us, then walks with us silently out of the night. These are words we but dimly hear. You, sent out beyond your recall, go to the limits of your longing. Embody me. Flare up like flame and make big shadows I can move in. Let everything happen to you. Beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final. Don't let yourself lose me. Nearby is the country they call life. You will know it by its seriousness. Give me your hand.
If the sun thought she could never lead us on our way, if the moon thought he would never see the light of day, we would I'll paddle a canoe, 'cause I can see the view, and I believe it's true that I can do it too. If the wildest flower never thought that he should bloom, if the forest worried they would take up too much room, if the tallest mountain thought she'd fall back to the ground, if the sprouting seedling thought that he would not be found, we would never feel what we now see as real. We would never know how far we could go. I'll paddle a canoe, 'cause I can see the view, and I believe it's true that you can do it too. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. And if your light is flickering, remember you're still light. Oh, if your light is flickering, remember you're still light. Oh, now I'm in my shoes, I'll follow all the crews. I drink the morning dew and find my way to you. Let's paddle our canoe, 'cause I can see the view, and I believe it's true that we can do it too.
Friends, our generosity continues to astound everyone. We are continuing to pay our staff and maintain our building, even when most of us can't even be here. Last March, we couldn't have imagined that 8 months later, the pandemic would still be raging, that we'd be masked and keeping at least 6 feet apart from each other, and that we'd be going to church on our computers. But we also couldn't have imagined just how close we would have grown in these 8 months. The way that we chat with people we've been in church with for years but never met, and welcome newcomers to tuck in. The way we gather during the week and meditate together, share with so much tenderness and hilarity over tea, deepen our connection over poems, reflect on what we're reading, sing together, and continue to do the work of building this beloved community. This time apart could have driven us apart, but instead it has drawn us closer than ever. I am so grateful. Please take a moment now to join me in giving as we fill our virtual collection plate. You can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 617-300-0509, scan the QR code in the order of service, or click on the yellow Donate Now button on the homepage at ascboston.org. Now, here's that number again. It is 617-300-0509. Thank you for your generosity. After you make your gift to sustain our beloved community, please continue to share in the chat what inspires you during these difficult days.
Hi everyone. This song is, well, a bit of an unconventional choice for church, but it fit the theme. It's a very flawed and imperfect person with all sorts of secrets and a perfect, let's say, facade, showing us what's underneath and wondering, hey, if you knew everything that was wrong with me, Would you even still be here? This is If I Told You Now by Jason Robert Brown.
If I told you now that I didn't have the answers, that I didn't know the reasons, that I didn't hold the key. If I told you now that I couldn't say for certain, that I wouldn't break my promise, could you bear to look at me? If I told you now that in spite of my persistence and my confident demeanor, I am more and more in doubt. If I told you now, would you smile with understanding? Would you burn with disappointment? Or would you turn and turn me out? If I told you now, I suspect you still might say we've gone too far to change or push away the tide. Would you close us down, or would I get extra points because I tried? If I tried. If I told you now, and I'm not about to tell you, but in case I chose to mention things I know you won't allow, would it hurt less later if I told you now? If I told you now that we're never really safe from all the fires we set or debts we have to pay, would you hold me now? So at least for this, for here, I know you'd stay. If you'd stay. If I told you now, it would be for your protection, 'cause I'm sure I'll disappoint you, though I can't imagine how. Does it make me better if I told you now? Would you make me better if I told you now?
Next Sunday, Thanksgiving Sunday, we'll be launching All Souls, a capital campaign for the preservation of Arlington Street Church. I have some very exciting news to share. Our beloved Lois Hartsoff, whose father died last year, has chosen to share her inheritance with us and is offering a $10,000 match for next week's contributions. I am so deeply moved by Lois's devotion to our beloved spiritual community. You'll be hearing from Lois next Sunday, but let's begin thanking her right now. Thank you, Lois. Your generosity is one for the ages. For those of you who are new to News of All Souls, let me catch you up. We're entering a long, huge building project to restore the spalling brownstone and to preserve the exterior of our nearly 160-year-old building. Some of you have asked how much we'll need to raise. I'm going to tell you a very big number. Fasten your seatbelts, and then I'll explain how we're planning to get there. The total cost of this project, estimated to take at least 10 years, is roughly $12 million. Right now, we are focused on phase 1, which is preserving the front of the church, the portico, which is everything below the spire, as well as rebuilding the Boylston Street steps and building a brand new redesigned Arlington Street ramp. Phase 1 is going to cost something in the neighborhood of $2.5 million. We already have in hand much more than $1 million in grants and a single gift of nearly $250,000 from a very generous neighbor. The lion's share of the money will not come from this congregation, but we have a very important role to play. Our work is to demonstrate our commitment to this project. Our goal is a goal of participation. If we can get to 100%, if every one of us can give something large or something small, it will demonstrate to potential funders that we care and are caring for our corner of the city. Tech team lead Art Nava is going to show you a graphic now. Thank you, Art. This is a rendering of the front of the church drawn by our architects at Brunner Cott. They literally drew every single stone. Starting next Sunday, we're going to begin filling in our names, not on the building itself, but on the stones in this graphic. And eventually, this beautiful drawing with all of our names will be mounted and hung in the sanctuary so everyone can see what we did together. Eventually, this beautiful drawing will be mounted here. And in the meantime, you'll be seeing it on Sunday mornings, and you can visit it on the web at ascboston.org, where the giving levels and all the ways we can give will be listed. Please join Kem and me in continuing to reflect on what you might be able to give to fulfill the dream of passing on our beloved building preserved for generations to come. Next Sunday, let's join together and plan to match Lois's gift. Thank you, my friends.
As always, there are a lot of wonderful gatherings happening this week. There are meditation, poetry, yoga, a writing group, and the opportunity to study T.S. Eliot with our very own professor, Alan Helms. The conversation prompt for this Wednesday's tea time with the ministers is, what was your first job and what did you learn? For details on everything that's going on, please be sure to visit our homepage at ascboston.org. At the close of today's service, please unmute yourself for virtual coffee hour and enjoy the opportunity to visit in smaller groups in the breakout rooms. Before I turn it over to Mark, David, Buckles, and Julie for our closing hymn, a big thank you to all of you who joined in today's service and to all of those who made it possible.
Well, everyone, our closing hymn today is, pulling up my score here, Simple Faith, which is a song we've loved doing over the past few years, and it speaks to kind of the beauty in the impermanence of what the time that we have together and the experiences we can share right now with each other on this earth. I hope you will sing with us. Ours is a simple faith. 2, 3, 4, 1. Here we go. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. No room in this heart for fear. No judgment day drawing near. Trust that inner voice you hear every day. Life's not a goal or race. It's all about heart and faith and living a life of grace every day. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. Trust is an open hand, making an honest stand, rooted here in the land every day, living the mystery, seeking the harmony here between you and me every day. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. One more time. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. Every day, every day.
Before our benediction, I invite you to reach out your hands and touch the sides of your square. Touch hands with the people to your left and your right, and send out love to the person on either side of you and to the people on either side of them. Send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming back to you. Love is the spirit of this congregation. And now for our benediction, I invite you to put your hands over your heart in Namaste. I bow to the divine. in you. Our benediction is adapted from American writer Clarissa Pinkola Estes. One of the most calming and powerful actions we can take to intervene in a stormy world is to stand up and show our souls. Souls shine like gold in dark times. The light of the soul throws sparks, sends up flares, builds signal fires. Do not lose heart. You are not alone. Let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Bless your hearts. I love you. Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.